rain prediction today, but at the moment it seems like it's just cloudy, fortunately. And what did I read today? How about this one? It was kind of interesting. Apparently, some online stores, for example, were just selling things that enable people to jam things like drones, and I guess legally you're not allowed to do that. It says anti-drone companies market radio jammer devices online despite FCC rules outlawing them. As it says here, several online retailers and drone technology companies are marketing the sale of radio frequency jammers as drone deterrence or privacy tools, sidestepping federal laws that prohibit such devices from being offered for sale in the US. Radio frequency jammers are devices that interfere with communication systems, usually by sending out competing radio signals to confuse nearby electronics. It is a decades-old technology that federal regulators have tried to crack down on, but interest in the jammers persists because people can use them to keep away unwelcome drones, disable security cameras, or block Wi-Fi networks. The Federal Communications Commission has warned that jammers can interfere with emergency communications, disrupt normal phone use, and have other unintended consequences such as confusing airport navigation systems. According to the FCC, jammers are illegal to sell and may not be operated, marketed, or imported into the United States. In general, even local police aren't legally allowed to use them, saying, quote, "These jamming devices pose significant risk to public safety and potentially compromise other radio communication services," the FCC says on its website. Now it's kind of interesting to think about again, where a lot of counter-drone tools and all that, they actually just do it in a broad way. So it makes you wonder, in these cases, are there people that are so paranoid of, let's just say, a recreational drone that they'll just use this stuff and it affects, as they say, everything around them, like every single tech and all that. And according to this anyways, they say with their investigation, they see this stuff being marketed, sold on places like Amazon and all that. It says Maverick Drone Systems, a Minnesota-based company, has been offering a portable anti-drone, quote, RF jamming unit for $2,999 on its website, with China-based company Tariffs listed as supplier. The jammer, which vaguely resembles a shotgun, is easy to use and has a range of about 1.2 kilometers according to the listing. Anybody could pick one of these up tomorrow, Maverick CEO Adam Shaw said in a phone interview. Shaw declined to say how many jammers he had sold, but he said that because of the price, most consumers aren't interested. He said there's been interest from large corporations and state government agencies that have watched the rise of drone warfare in Ukraine and Israel and want to prepare for the possibility of domestic drone terrorism, saying, quote, "Could this happen in your backyard? That's a real concern for a lot of people," he said. In general, can you imagine people buying stuff like this because they're that, I guess, paranoid nowadays with things like a drone flying around? And just with the thought in general, like all that news recently of drone deliveries and all that, do they actually factor that in? Where there could be criminals using stuff like this to potentially intercept packages and all that. And it goes on saying Maverick, though, is not alone. On Amazon, 9 independent sellers recently offered jammer devices for sale for as little as $25.63. According to searches by NBC News, the product listing said they could be used for a variety of situations, including interfering with microphones. All 9 sellers described themselves as based in China. In messages to NBC News, several said they had no information to share beyond what was on the product pages. One seller sent a message confirming that they would ship the jammer to California, writing, "US customers can buy it." Yeah, so let's see how this plays out. I know actually this is a heavily searched topic as well, people looking for jamming devices of sort. And what a lot of them mentioned, like in this article, in terms of things like China and all that, as you know, in the US, they wanted to propose laws to ban things like DJI, Chinese-made drones, but how about this one? It seems like they want to go, I guess, non-stop. This one here says, US lawmakers ask Biden administration to increase tariffs on Chinese-made drones. A bipartisan group of US lawmakers on Wednesday asked the Biden administration to impose higher tariffs on Chinese drones, including those shipped from other countries, and new incentives to boost US drone manufacturers. Representative Mike Gallagher, chair of the House China Committee, the panel's top Democratic Raja Krishnamurthy, and 11 other lawmakers urged the administration to take immediate action against Chinese drone makers, including DJI and Autel. This included hiking tariffs to stop the mass proliferation of a technology in the US market that poses a clear national and economic security threat. They said in a letter to the US Trade Representative, Commerce, and Homeland Security Departments. The agencies did not immediately comment, and DJI and Autel did not immediately respond to requests for comment. The letter said the current 25% additional tariff on Chinese drones is insufficient to combat the surge in imports. The push on drones comes after several lawmakers have called on the Biden administration to hike tariffs on Chinese-made vehicles. At this rate, they're going to be regulated out of the country completely. If it's not the bans, it's just not profitable, for example. And I wouldn't be surprised if you have people just selling it under the table and all that, or trying to import it from other countries. But yeah, it just seems like it's non-stop with that, huh? And then I read this today, which was actually really fascinating when it comes to things like laws and all that, where it seems like it benefits potential criminals and all that. Apparently in this story, there's an issue in certain places in the US where there are people squatting on homes, and when the owner comes to try to, I guess, kick them out, they can't, I guess, like legally, like the police can't do anything about it. It's kind of ridiculous. And they actually arrest like the actual owners of the property. Like this one says, squatter standoff captured on camera in Queens. Eyewitness News captured what a growing number of property owners and police are dealing with on a daily basis. A squatter standoff. It's not fair that I, as a homeowner, have to go through this, Adele Andalora said. Andalora inherited her family's home in Flushing, Queens after her parents passed away. She was in the process of selling it when she noticed a problem. Someone changed the entire front door and lock of her home. Yeah, so with this story, it seemed like as she was going to the property, there were people living in there, and obviously she wanted them to get out and all that, and there happened to be like a news reporter like trying to report, I guess, on the topic. And when the people arrived, a lot of them were like, oh, well, I pay my rent and so forth. Someone claims he leased the area, even though she is the legal owner. He was telling her, for example, no, if you want to kick me out of here, you have to take me to court and all that. And as the police came, they even warned her, well, you can't evict him, for example, like you have to go through the court system. And to me, just by the sounds of it, it's basically people abusing a law where it'll probably take years and years for this to actually pan out. And in the meantime, the people could just stay in the house, or in this case, if someone was, let's just say, illegally making money off of it, they would too, correct? So it seemed like she kind of stood her ground at first, saying, oh, I'm not leaving. Like she changed the locks and all that. And because of that, the squatter, if that's what you want to say, asked the police to, I guess, take her away. And that's kind of what they did. That's crazy, isn't it? Wow, like that's some crazy law. Like, what is the purpose of that?
Why is it that I have to leave and he doesn't have to leave?
Because technically he can't be kicked out. We need to go to court.
They consider this a landlord-tenant issue, and by law it has to be handled through the housing court, not with police.
I don't own this.
Exactly,
Yes,
she does.
Yes, but then once again, you should know how the law works.
I do know how it works.
There's rules to the as you got to go to court and send me to civil court.
He says he signed a lease in October, but wouldn't tell us with who.
So Adele, you're getting arrested right now?
I'm being arrested.
For what?
For being in
my own home.
And
It's not her
and
house.
where's your lease?
She's fighting the house. It's not her house anymore.
My deed
That's
is
what it was
current
told
and
already.
legal.
Arrested for unlawful eviction. She changed the locks on a man who claims he lives there.
That doesn't make sense, does it? What was the rational way of thinking in terms of somebody coming up with a law like this? You could literally, like, these guys just come up and say, oh no, like I own the property, whatever. Like they don't even have to show any kind of proof, and then because of that, like, okay, well, if you want to deal with it, take it to court. Wow, that is ridiculous, but it just shows you how crazy it is in various parts of the world too, huh? Where there's always something happening like this every single day. No, it's a coyote. Yeah. All right, see you guys later.